Karetiya to start the session and let us know how to deal with these inner enemies and how to make our life holistic and peaceful. Mr. Rushik Karetiya, over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Jai Sachidanand, everyone. And today's topic is the inner flows, anger, pridefulness, deceitfulness, and greed. Sir, please confirm my voice is audible to everyone.
Yeah, it is clear, audible.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, thank you so much, sir. Yeah. So, Lala sir is always telling me that wherever anger is there, right, prideful is there, and where there is a greed, there is always a deceitfulness is there. Deceit is always there. So this is the thing. If somebody is angry, somebody is showing anger, means what? He is trying to save his pride. And if somebody is showing some kind of the deceit, means he is trying to hide its greed. So this is the thing. The core of these inner flows are painful to both one who hurts other as well as himself. See, these four are the things which are obstacle for the liberation. These inner flows are a big obstacle in the path of the liberation. One must eliminate these four things, not only four things, but also there are lobe, and also there are seven foes that one should eliminate. People live on the basis of anger, pridefulness, greed, and deceitfulness. See, if you observe in a daily life, in a routine life, if you are conscious, if you keep conscious yourself, then you will be able to identify the level of the people that where he or she is right now. In the morning, if somebody is talking about a good things, but if somebody is giving some kind of the greed to them, then in the evening, in the afternoon, the level of that person will be degraded. So every second, our level of the consciousness changing, and according to that, so what it drives? It drives all these kind of the flows. So Dada Bhagwan says that if we eliminate all these kind of the inner flows or foes, antar shatru, it is called antar shatru. If we eliminate them, then will be only there is a way of liberation. Like termite, these flows keep harming oneself and the other coming into one's contact. Means like a termite. If there is a group of the termite, it will eat all the wood which we have. The furniture which we have kept in our home, right? So the same way, if these flows are not controlled or are not eliminated, we will not be able to have a liberation, as well as we will not be able to live a simple life. Inner flows. So they are mentioned here: anger, pridefulness, deceitfulness, and greed. So before starting this slide, I would like to say that anger is a very finest form of energy. Everybody is not able to control it. Why? Because our body, our mind is not made in this way that we can control anger in a natural way. We have to learn how to control our anger. So controlling and not taking out the anger, both are different things. Controlling means it is in a natural way, and not taking it out means you are burning from inside. Still you are anger, but it is burning it inside. Anger, pridefulness, deceitfulness, and the greed impede means delays one's way to liberation. Why? Because whenever you are angry with somebody, if you are showing some kind of the pride, if deceitfulness is there, or if you are greedy one, right, you are committing some kind of the karma, whether consciously or unconsciously, right? And that is why you have to perform a cycle of the birth and death constantly, over and over, again and again. And in this way, if we are not trying to eliminate all these things, all these foes, antar shatru, it is called in Gujarati or Hindi, right? There is a very much difficult to get oneself liberated. So deceitfulness always protects the greed. If you are greedy, you have to manipulate the things in order to gain some gain in your favor, in order to have something in your favor. So always, if you are greedy, means somewhere you have done some kind of the deceitful act. Now, on this grid, I would like to throw some light on it. What is greed? If anything, which is giving you a happiness, which is giving you a happiness, or if you want to keep it always forever to you, that means it is greed. If you are not letting it go, it means it is greed. Those who are greedful will never leave their things with different people, or will always try to snatch the things from others. This is the first parameter of the greed. Now, if the person is not having something and he is craving to have that thing, means he is suffering. This is another parameter for the greed. Unless the thing is with us, we don't feel sorrow or sadness. But if that thing is snatched from us, we feel very much sorrow. I mean, we feel I don't want to give this thing to someone, and that has been snatched from me. But there is a minute line between greed and love. If someone or something which you wanted to have always, you wanted to keep always with you, and if somebody is offering the better thing than you have, right, but still you are denying, that means that greed converts into love. Priti, it is called priti. Suppose initially someone is mentioning a beauty, right? Someone is very beautiful, and that at first sight, if you are attracted, that means it is greed. But after some time, after a few months, if you start understanding, if you know the characteristic and personality of that person, and still if you want to keep that person with you, that means it is love. So the positive side of greed is love, and the negative side of greed is that sorrowfulness, or you feel sorry that you are not having it. Move to the next point. Yeah. Anger, pridefulness, deceitfulness, and the greed impede one's way to liberation. Deceitfulness always protects the greed. Don't we find that some merchants resort the underweight or under measurement measuring their goods? See, we have seen many a times that if you visit some grocery store, and sometimes nowadays what happens? These are the electronics weighing balance are there, so we can manipulate the chipset, and if the weight is 800 gram and it shows 1 kilogram, so 200 gram is a part of the grid. Certainly that person has to pay it, right? But at the stage, the customer has a loss of 200 gram. So this is a kind of grid, and this is the example of the grid, right? You must have come across the many examples where the person has shown his or her greediness. The main thing is that we must be aware where we are beholding the greediness of the person. I mean, we can observe. If we are conscious every time, we can observe that, see, this is the level of the greediness, this is the level of the ego, this is the level of the deceitfulness right now. If constantly we are conscious, right, we can identify these all kind of the things from a same person. But we should be aware of these things first. Sorry. Anger is for defense of one's proudfulness. As I told you, that suppose if you are invited in some function, and if you are not given a front seat, what will happen? Your prideness will be coming across and will tell you, will shout from inside that why you are not given a front seat. You are coming in a second or third place, right? Why it is so? You are invited with this much respectfully, and you are given a second or third seat. What does it mean? So at that time, to save your pride, You will get angry towards the host. Why I'm not giving the front seat? What is wrong with that? I am important as that guest. So wherever there is a pride, there is always a anger. There is always. These both are duos, we can say. Both are coming together. There are two kind of these flows, controllable and non-controllable. We are talking about the anger. If anger is controllable, then it is fine. But it is not controllable, it is not fine. It will harm you as well as the person on which you are angry. See, sometimes what happens, we don't even know the reason why we are angry with this person, and still we get angry. At that time, I must advise, I must suggest that have a pause for 2 minutes and try to identify the real cause. Uh, I would like to share my own example. Before few days, because of the daily chorus or daily mundane work, I mean, from the job, and it was a very stressful day. And as soon as I came to my home, right, generally I always take care that whenever I come to home, right, I don't react towards my child because he whole days keep waiting for me, and in the evening when I come, he plays with me, right. But due to whole day stressful work, I got angry, little bit angry with him. So this was not okay. I realized after 10 to 15 minutes that this was not okay. It was not his fault. So sometimes we may get angry with someone who is not at fault. So the things I have learned is that we should take a pause for 2 minutes only. Whatever kind of the anger is there, at least take a pause for 2 minutes. You will realize that on which things you are really angry, and it is really necessary to get angry with that particular thing. And anger is a really subtle thing that our body is not able to hold if it is not practiced well. We must practice to control the anger naturally, not to pressurize it. If we pressurize it, it will burst out, and someday it will take a form of a tornado, and it may cause uh, unexpected harm to our family, sometimes to our workplace or everywhere. I must say. So one form is controllable. If it is controllable, that is very good. You are living a natural life. But sometimes, if it is not controllable, I must suggest that try to take a pause for 2 minutes. This is the best practice.
अथर्वा जी,
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
सर गुस्सा एंगर तो अनैच्छिक क्रिया है ना सर?
हाँ, अच्छी क्रिया है सर.
अनैच्छिक इच्छा.
अच्छा,
there
अनैच्छिक, yes. Controllable and non-controllable.
Yes.
Yes, it is. आपने जैसे बोला सर कि अनैच्छिक है, बराबर. बट सर जब हम गुस्सा करते हैं तो हमें भी नहीं पता है कि हम क्या करते हैं, बिकॉज एंगर से हम ड्राइव हो जाते हैं, मोटिवेट हो जाते हैं, और वी वोंट बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई वेदर आई एम डूइंग इज करेक्ट और रॉन्ग. दिस इज द थिंग. That is why in ancient India or ancient practice, Guruji, teacher, used to give a punishment to the students, right? Some kind of the physical punishment also are there. But nowadays, there is no provision for the punishment in the school, if you are well aware of this, right? Why it is so? I have inquired about this, that in ancient India it was very good to practice that we give a punishment to the students, and they were good at controlling at that time. So why it is not right now? So that sir told me that, sir, whenever we are into giving the punishment to the students, right, we are very much furious by the act of the students, and we forget who we are. We forget who we are, and we give them punishment which is not a human thing. It is inhuman thing. Sometimes it becomes, and we may come across many news that the teacher has beaten a small child, a senior KG or junior KG going child. It is liable to do those things. That is why the punishment, giving the punishment to the students, is not the provision. in this academics. So this was a very beautiful answer given by that expert faculty to me, and I also understood it very well. So, for example, when you are angry with someone, you suppress it within and pacify it. We try to suppress it, that we don't get angry much with them. This is controllable anger. We can control it. It's okay, fine. If it is happened, that's fine, no problem. But if one reaches this stage, his worldly life will be smooth and fine. If we take a pause, or if we anyhow naturally try to control our anger, our life will be seriously smooth. And what happens? Well, what happens post angry things? If I tell you, you won't have anything else, anything other than regret. You only feel regret after getting angry on someone. Yes, getting angry is good thing sometimes. Whenever it is required, you should get angry also. At workplace, sometimes we have to get angry, but falsely. Sometimes what happens? I have to get angry on my students, but it is outer anger, not inner anger, not from the heart. It's just for the betterment of my students. I have to get angry, but it is not coming from my heart. It is not from the bhav. So this is the thing. Sometimes we have to get angry towards our child, our children. This is also the things. But we must be aware whether we are only showing the anger or we are getting angry really. These are the two things we must aware of the things. In non-controllable anger, what happens? Sometimes we try to control the anger and we are keeping in our heart. What happens? That anger is not coming out. It prolongs up to the last breath. Sometimes sometimes happens that we don't talk to our siblings, or we don't talk to our cousins because of the some few matter related to the property, matter related to the things. Like what is this? What are these things? These are the things that anger should come out, but we did not take it out. We did not talk to them properly, right? And that came within, that stored within. And what were the consequences? Just because of the very minute reason, we ended up our relation. These are the things happening. So if anger is uncontrollable, it works as explosive outburst, can't be stopped. And we don't know that this kind of the tornado, how much destruction it will show. It proves harmful to the fellow himself and to the others too. See, others may forget, but if the anger is up to the extreme level, what happens? It will affect our glands. It will affect our digestive system. If the person is practicing anger all the times, all the day, you will see that the person is suffering from some kind of the digestive disorder, some kind of the heart disorder, because that person is not able to empty himself, take out the things. Sir, my voice is audible properly?
Yes, yes. Little
Yes, sir.
obstacle
Yes,
it is,
sir.
but it can be understood. I think you
Oh,
need to increase a little distance of your mic.
is it sir? Okay, now how it is, sir?
And now fine.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, now anger. It is difficult to master anger fully. Yeah, this is correct thing. We cannot master fully the anger, but we can somehow control it. Control should be naturally. Mark my words. It should be naturally. Anger expresses itself in two forms: visible anger and invisible anger. As I told you, the anger that people tend to overcome is visible anger. That I'm not angry. Naturally, I say, even if we are angry from within, what I pretend, I'm not angry. It's just a natural I am behaving. But from within, we only know that I'm very much angry by your this act or by the talk you are doing right now. Suppressing visible anger results in enhancing invisible anger. If you are not showing anger, what happens? You are controlling, I mean, you are pressing the anger, you are drinking the anger within. And that is very much destructive things, I must say. When people claim that I have conquered the anger, wrong. I am trying to conquering the anger. Sorry, that is the correct thing. If if we can conquer the anger, right? We will be next to the God. Yeah. So this is the thing. Their false pride increases. I have conquered the anger means what? Somebody would praise them that, oh my God, you are able to control the anger 100%. So what will happen over there? We are nourishing their pride, their ego. We are really doing this. So anger is like a fire. It burns not only oneself but also others who are around. So one must try to control the anger. One must try to hold the angers naturally. I have heard the one story. Sir, now it is audible. I have turned the fan off
Yeah, yeah.
properly.
Please continue.
Okay, okay, sir. Yeah. So what happens? There was a boy who were remaining angry all the time. See, whatever we practice, we will be. Whatever we practice, we will be. If we all the times practice the anger, we remain the angry all the times. If we practice a smile every time, we will be cheerful all the times. Right? So what we practice, we become. So what happens? The child was remaining angry all the times, and his guru, his teacher, told him. Actually, the child also wanted to suppress that anger, so his guru told him that every time or each time you get angry, you put the nail in the wall, right? Every time. So in a month, he did that. He how many times he counted? How many times he got angry? It was almost 45 times he got angry, and he inserted 45 nails in the wall. Then he came to his guru again. That sir, Guruji, I have done this task. Now tell me what to do next. Guruji told that now every time if you get angry and if you are able to control it, right? If you don't destruct anything from within and to the other, if you are not harming to others, right? Every time you have to that take out that nail from that wall you have inserted. Okay, fine. So after 16 days, he take out all 45 nails from the wall. And he claimed to his Guruji that, Guruji, now I am able to control my anger. So Guruji told him that one more task is remaining. Go to that wall and see how many holes are there. Even if you have dragged out all the nails from the wall, see those nails have left the prints behind. So every time if we get angry with someone, even with that person, that particular personality is not showing or not reacting anything, that doesn't mean we have not dig or we have not dug the hole in their heart. This is the thing. This is a real thing we must say. So it is difficult to master the anger fully. Anger expresses itself in two forms, as I told you, visible and invisible, and it is very much difficult to suppress the invisible anger. Suppressing visible anger results in enhancing invisible anger. When people claim, yes, anger is like fire. Okay, so we have discussed this slide. Now, this is a very famous shloka in Gitaji. Krodhat bhavanti sammoha smriti vibrama. Smriti भ्रंशदः buddhi nasho buddhi nashata pranashyati. Means what? From anger. This is a point of view of the anger that if we are angry with at a moment, right, we feel like a delusion. We don't know whether what the things am I doing is correct or wrong. So this is a stage of delusion. At that time, we will not be able to take a right decision. When a man becomes angry, he loses his power of discrimination. He doesn't remain rational between right and wrong. He will speak and do anything he likes. He will be swept away by the impulses of the passion and emotions and will act irrationally. And sometimes we destruct a lot just because of the very subtle anger. That is why getting angry, taking 2 minutes pause is the best thing, I must say, because I am practicing this every time. I am practicing this, and I have brought in my life That each time if I get angry, I must take pause for 2 minutes.
Very well. Rishik
Yeah.
sir, with your
Yes, sir.
permission, may I add something?
Please, sir. Please, please.
See, if we take analogy,
Okay.
in my view, different persons are different metals.
Correct.
Anger means that which melts you. Some people are like candle, they lose their temper at very trifle things. Some are like copper or gold or silver. So the degree varies.
Correct.
Because of meditation and spiritual practice, it is possible to gain control over this inner flaw. The
Correct.
ideal state might be to gain the features of tungsten. Tungsten is such metal that
Yes.
it has a very high melting point. It
Yes.
doesn't melt down easily.
We
So
have 2,850, sir.
okay,
2,850 degrees
you can
centigrade.
give the
Yes.
details. So our aim should be like tungsten. Whatever happens, okay, we should
Correct.
not melt down easily. And
Correct.
spiritual practice and meditation, it can be very helpful. Please continue.
Of course, sir. So here a very good phrase written over here. You cannot see your reflection in a boiling water. So exactly, we are reflecting ourselves like a boiling water when we are angry. You cannot see truth in a state of anger. We cannot even justify the things that whether it is correct or not. So real anger has the lingering effect. Lingering effect means is long lasting, prolonged, sometimes for a life, sometimes for a life. I have seen many examples between husband and wife that once because of some reason they get separated and they are angry with each other after 12 or 15 years. Still the same thing is going on. So this is a long lasting thing if it is preserved for a longer period of a time, and if it is not forgotten. Yeah. So real anger is when the self burns. This is a real anger. When a person burns from inside, he will feel the heat inside. Even we feel the anger to our body also. Our body heats up like we are suffering from fever. When we are angry, right? Everything, our body reacts like we get our eyes red, right? We clutch our hands like this, right? In extreme case, we can say when a person burns from inside, he will feel the heat inside, and others around him will also feel that heat. In both forms of anger, whether it is visible or invisible, there remains the lingering bitterness afterwards. That is why, one, the thread of trust because of the anger is broken, and if we tie the knot over there, the knot means not only we cannot mend the things that it was previously. We have some regret, remains a regret. We cannot make the things that it was before. For example, we might have every couple might have observed this, that if there is a quarrel between husband and wife at a night, anger flares up and both of them stay awake for a whole night, just blaming each other. See, in a state of anger, we cannot sleep. In a state of anger, we cannot sleep. And in any state of emotions, whether it is happiness or whether it is anger or sorrow, we cannot sleep. We need to neutralize it, and then only we will be able to sleep. So, in a state of anger, if there is a quarrel between husband and wife, right, they keep waking awake whole night, thinking that whose fault was there, right? They will not try to mend the things, but will try to find out the faults. See, I'm talking about general thing, right? Not a particular thing. It is not like a personal thing. Many husband and wives are there who are practicing that even if there is a small quarrel or small misunderstanding, must be resolved before getting into bed. These kind of the practices are being done by the many of the couples, and this is very good things. That resolving the problem at a bedtime, this is very good practice, I must say. Okay, so what happens? if the things are not resolved, what will happen? You will get a cup of tea in the morning, but with a bang on the table, right? Sometimes we may not get the same taste as we are getting every day in the morning, just because of this subtle thing. So in the morning, the wife serves a cup of tea with a bang. Her husband understands that there is still the lingering bitterness of the anger. Lingering means prolonged. This is anger in a real sense.
So
But
really, it is good not to cherish this bitterness for a long time.
correct. That is why
So
that is why
if wife
practicing.
extends it, I have one suggestion. We
Huh,
have to remind her. You see, in the war of Mahabharata,
huh,
the bitterness was only for the day. As soon as the sun sets, it was decided
correct,
that both the parties, both the enemies, Kauravas and Pandavas, they can meet in a friendly climate.
correct.
It is like that.
They will
So it
ask
is
for their health. They
you
will
see,
ask for
sir,
huh,
we have
sir.
been teachers. So from our life, from our profession, there is also good example.
Okay, sir. Tell me,
When
please.
principal gets angry with teachers,
Huh,
teacher finds it very difficult to digest. He doesn't forget. He
correct.
remembers for a long time. Okay, he said me, he used this word for me. But
Yes,
generally, when teachers get angry with students, students forget instantly, I tell you.
correct.
Even in the first period, if you give a tight slap to a student, in the last period, he will wish you good evening, sir. And you
Because
will be amazed to see, my God, what mind this fellow has. He totally forgot. So this is a great
because
quality about children,
yes,
isn't it,
sir.
Rushik, sir?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Because connection is from both of the sides, from the teacher as well as from the student,
Right.
right? And somewhere the students and teacher always try to suppress the things which were wrong between them.
We need to
So
learn this from
yes,
children,
yes, bilkul,
actually.
sir.
Thank you. Please carry on.
Yes, sir. So in mother's anger towards her child, there is no lingering effect. If mother is angry with his or her child, right? What happens after the next moment? If child is demanding something to eat, what will happen? Peacefully and happily, mother will hand over the things to eat that child. So that anger is from the just to show, not to act or not to preserve. It
Dramatic
can
anger, no?
yes, yes, dramatic anger we can say. Hence, it cannot be constructed as anger in a real sense. We cannot consider this a real anger in a real essence. Now, good conduct and a pure conduct. See, sometimes we have to get angry in order to do a good for the others. This is called a Shubh Charitra. When one does not get angry in an infuriating situation, it is good conduct or good behavior. We have to, in order to bring our children, bring our close ones on attraction. Good behavior improves one's worldly life and makes it auspicious. There is a saying by the Buddha that holding on the anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And what is actually happening? That slow poison is present within us, is constantly corroding us from inside, and eventually we will die. Because, sir, just a minute, I'm getting one call. Right, I have to put.
Fine, fine. See, I remember at this point one very interesting incident which Dada Bhagwan shared. There was one renowned physician, and he was known for his curing. So, one person who met many doctors ultimately had to visit this one. And because of this, the doctor gone some proudy to some extent because he was sure if a patient comes to me, then he must be cured. So he just prescribed few medicines and told the patient not to use chili in his diet. After and he promised him that after a week he will be all right. But after a week, when the patient complained, "Oh doctor, there is no relief at all," the doctor got little bit angry with himself. How this happened? He was damn sure. Then he said, "Are you following my instructions correctly?" He said, "Yes." In this way, a month passed and the complaint remained the same. There was no improvement. So the doctor visited the person at his home and he reached. That time the man was taking lunch and there were many chilies in his dish. The doctor got so angry after his instruction that the doctor got attacked and he fell down. You see how dangerous this anger is. And this is real incident shared by Dada Bhagwan. Thank you. Rishik sir, continue.
Even I would like to share. Okay, am I audible now, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
I would like to share the real example I have seen, I have observed, and I have beheld during the things. I would not share in detail, but one of the Mahatma was visiting a children. Right, this is a real incident I have observed, and some children, some child has done some mischief. Right. So in order to explain them, in order to not to do that again, to explain in such a way that Mahatma told him that I will slap you hard on your cheek. Was that behavior acceptable from that Mahatma, from that sadhu? No. So sometimes it is very much difficult for this kind of the Mahatmas to control the anger too. So these are the things happening. So yeah, moving to next one. Positive anger, parents and teachers. Anger of the mother, father, and a teacher towards the son or disciple comes in the category of the auspicious anger. Why? Because this is for the betterment of the our children or our disciple. And that is called Punya Prakop. The word name is a Punya Prakop. Their harsh words are not inspired by the negative feelings, but rather aim at reforming the child or pupil. The purpose of this anger is also to save the inexperienced child or pupil. See, sometimes we may have experienced some things in our life and we don't want our child to suffer the same way, right? What we do? We do a false anger on them. We get angry with them. That don't try to do this, otherwise you will face a very hard consequences, very bad consequences with this, right? At that moment, sometimes even child is not able to understand, but because of our anger, he will turn up and we will not commit the thing again. So this is the thing that teacher, that parents can do with their children. Okay, so now there are tips to control the anger. If you are standing, then sit down. If you are sitting, then stand up. Don't react, but that is the condition. Drink water or fill your mouth with water, like this. You can bulge out your cheeks, right? So that you cannot speak anything. Write on paper that I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry. Why? Because at that time, our subconscious is not present, right? So we are constantly forcing our subconscious that I'm getting angry. Just try to do something. I'm getting angry. Whenever anger comes, read it again and again and again. On hearing insult, condemnation, sarcasm, think this. If I was absent, think that somebody is insulting you, that feel like I'm not present over here. It is very much difficult, right? But we can implement this somewhere. This can be implemented with the family member mostly. Sometimes there is always a problem between the family members, right? It is not prolonged, but sometimes it may happen. So at that time, instead of reacting, try to do these things. Consider you are absent. So who is there to reply to them? Let them speak. They are suppressing your ego. If they are criticizing you, they are suppressing your ego free of cost. And if you are reacting them, what is happening? There will be some problem between these people and you. I mean, you are getting angry on them. Start the counting down. If it is little bit, if you are a little bit angry, start counting from 20 to 0. And if you are more angry, start counting from 100. Still, it is difficult, but this is a very good way to suppress the anger. Very good practice. Keep the conscience awake that I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry. I should not get angry. I must not react at the time. Take a pause. control the passion, being alert reduces the onset of the anger. So all this a play of being awake. If you are awake at the moment where you are angry, when you are angry, that means half or 60% of the situation will be normalized at that moment only. Now, pride nourishes the ego. Like, didn't offer a cup of tea. If you are invited, see, somebody is nourishing your pride, your ego, right? We are not even aware of these things, but somebody is triggering us. Didn't offer a cup of tea even if you have come this much far. First row, top in the list. Expectation in ceremonies. I am something. Such illusion is the source of pridefulness, and this will nourish our ego. And everybody want a chair to satisfy their ego. Everyone should obey whatever I say. See, there are leaders and boss. Mostly bossy nature are the people who are of this kind. That if you are not at mistake, still you must say sorry. And if the leader is there, it's okay. If this mistake has been done, oh, it's okay, no problem. But it should not repeat it again. Greed, love. Of all the inner flows, the lingering effect of the greed is the longest and it is the hardest to get rid of it. Greed, love. And this is very worst foe, I must say. Greed means harboring some desire to have something and to keep something which you love the most with you all the time. A greedy man smiles even when he is insulted while profiting. See, if the person is getting profited from someone, he will listen any kind of the things. Why? Because he's getting benefited. Because the greed is in his mind makes him think that this fool will shout out angrily and go away. But ultimately, I'm getting the things, I'm getting benefited, I'm getting the profit. What do I have to lose? Nothing. Let him speak. My wish is being fulfilled. That's fine, no problem. I have already pocketed 50 rupees. See, for 50 rupees, he is ready to listen anything which is not correct or maybe incorrect or anything, right? Greed and anger. Some seeker has asked to the Dadaji that when do greedy people get angry? This is the very important question. Mostly greedy people doesn't get angry, but when do they get angry? Whenever they are not having what they want, or whenever they are losing something what they wish. Dadaji says, in a crisis, when one's greatest object of greed slips out of his hand, and when one's deceitfulness fail to retain it, if the person is not able to convince someone to have whatever he wishes, at that time that fellow gets angry and he will show the anger to them. This is very important thing we must keep in mind. See, this is very good example. That gram pulses, chana, we call it, right? This is very favorite food for the monkeys. So what creatures, what that hunters do, they keep a pot. In that, the neck of the pot is made in such a way that the monkey can insert his hand, empty hand inside. But if he closes his fist and tries to take out, he will not. Right. So by doing this, monkey feels like somebody has held my hand from inside, right? And he is not able to think that I should remove that clutch and take out my hand, right? And he keep his fist wounded only, and he is not able to take out his hand from that pot, and that pot is fixed inside the earth such that that monkey is not able to dig it up or take it out. And by doing this, what happens? The free living creature, this creature inside the jungle, right? Wherever he wishes to sleep, wherever he wishes to wake up, wherever he sit, right? That person, that hunter will take him with him. He will give a training, and now he will be dancing amongst the crowd of the people. So just we may be feel or face such kind of the situation just because of the small or tiny greed. we have to dance in front of the people, right? This is just a metaphor. Okay, deceitfulness.
Well,
Deceitful.
sir,
Ah, sir, tell me,
let me add something to greed.
please,
One
sir.
interesting information. These days, these private companies which manufacture consumer goods, they
Yes,
take the benefit of this greed. They appeal
correct,
to greed.
correct.
When they say one plus one free,
Ah,
or on one product, one plus three free,
correct,
actually they are appealing to our greed. Dadaji has cautioned that nothing is free in the world.
correct.
But when
Absolutely
you get something free, if you go for free, it later proves to be very expensive. So we really need to follow this. When there is any offer, we need to rethink whether we should go for it or not. Thank you.
correct,
Carry on, please.
correct. If anything is available free, means it is costly. It is
Yeah.
absolutely costly, right? Uh, One more example I would like to add. Suppose some TV providers are providing some channels free of cost, right? So we are happy that we are getting this channel, this Amazon, this Amazon Prime or this Disney Hotstar. I'm getting free of cost. But what they are getting benefited? Our time. They are snatching our time. They are increasing their TRPs, and by doing advertisement, they are earning a lot of money. So human being is the biggest asset ever. Human being itself is the biggest asset, I must say. And by using such kind of the weapons, emotional weapons, abstract weapons, we fall in a trap and we keep running like a hamster on the roll ball, I must say. The definition of the deceit is not saying things as they are, means not showing the things as they are for our personal benefit or for the mutual benefit. We show something which is not actually, sometimes or many a times we might have suffered these things. So deceitfulness affects all three: mind, speech, and body. A woman has more of the atoms of deceitfulness and infatuation, I mean moha, whereas a man has more of them atoms of the anger and pride. Means man is able to show more pride and more anger, while lady or while a woman has more atoms of deceitfulness and infatuation. If a person pulls and attracts more atoms of the deceit and moha or infatuation, then the next life cycle could result in a feminine body, because this reflects the lady nature. And if the pool of the atoms of anger and pride is greater, then the next life cycle could result in the masculine body or the male body, more precisely. Women employ deceitfulness because of their imaginary fear. Sometimes women may fear that what if I don't get this one or that one, that gold necklace, and it will reflect deceitfulness to the family members, maybe to the husband, and so on with a respected person. The more the deceit, the more is the moha or infatuation. The way to get rid of greed, how? Suppose suppose you are going by work, and if you think that let us do not take a ride from the rickshaw, we have to pay some amount, right? So at that time, stop that your intellect at that moment and take a rickshaw, right? Pay some amount to the rickshaw owner, as well as if you want to get the rid of the greed, right? Try to spread some coins on the earth, on a road, so that by doing this, we will be able to suppress our greed. Dada Bhagwan says that the solution to weaken these internal flaws is that if someone points out or criticizes for these faults, accept them because they are doing for us free of cost, and never try to defend them. If we try to defend them, we are into the karma bandhan again. Another way to weaken one's greed, he has shown, is to disobey our intellect. That our buddhi, our intellect, is telling that try to react, but don't react. When it advises us to be greedy and behave in the opposite way. But don't listen to that intellect, right? And try to be in a neutral way or natural way. The way to get rid of greed. So this is the example I have given by the Dada Bhagwan. When the intellect says us to save the hiring cost of rickshaw and better walk, one should hire a rickshaw or taxi and keep dropping coins on the road. While doing so, the mind will resist, but don't listen to that intellect. Resist one should ignore its objection and continue dropping the coins on the way. Then our mind, which is trying to nourish the inner knot of the greed, will get frustrated and tired, and eventually it will leave that particular thing. By doing such acts to the contrary, the intellect will turn silent and the knot of the greed shall weaken gradually. Because every time we are not listening the intellect, so it will weaken and it will stop advising again. After a certain period of time, it will stop advising. Through such experiments of acting against the instinct of the greed, the inner conflicts will decrease and happiness will emerge out over a period of time. What is a greedy? What is suppressing the greediness? I must say, even if you see that there is a purse on a road, right? You are taking out the number of the owner. You are calling them, and you are handing over the purse to them. This is the best example of suppressing the greed. Uh, this case happened with me also in 2008. At that time, Android phones were very costly. The China phone were available at that time. Famous companies were not did not start developing the Android phones. So at that time, what happened? I found one phone that was touchscreen, resistive touchscreen, right? And the creature of greediness also emerged from my heart. I must accept this, but I did not respond my intellect. I immediately take out the number. I mean, see, everybody saves his father's number as a papa or father or pa, right? So immediately I took out the number from the phone. I called them, right, and then told them the location that I'm standing here. This phone must be dropped by your family member over here by mistakenly. Please come over here, give the identification, and receive the phone. And this really happened with me. Otherwise, I could have kept the phone and I could have take out all those SIMs. At that time, the technology was not that much flourished so that we can identify or trace the phone thief. So this happened with me too. So when, by doing such act to, let us move to next slide. Dadaji says, when does the master take his disciple to task? See, suppose why master scold his disciple, and if somebody is asking him that why are you angry with them, right? So by giving some kind of the fault, and he will show that I must get angry with him just because of this. What it is happening? That person is being nourished by his ego. When does the master take his disciple to task, to scold? He does this only when he gets angry. At the time, if someone asks, Master, why do you take him to task? Why are you scolding him? The master replies, oh, he deserves all this firing. It means what? That master is nourishing his ego. This protection, anger, sorry. This protection is the nourishment of the anger. To protect one's flaws is the food for them. A tight-fisted fellow asks you to buy a packet of the tea for him, and you buy it for 100 rupees. He asks you why you bought the tea at such a high price. So what is again nourishment is here? Such what nourishes and feed his greed. So identify the elements that these flows are being nourished by what? Because except soul, everything needs a food. And if we stop supplying those kind of the food, right, they will eventually get weakened and they will suppress after a few years. Yeah. Nourishment of the deceitfulness and pride. Now, what is the factor that nourished deceitfulness? Suppose black marketing is in the blood of some businessman, right? The fellow is doing business unethically, right? And if we point out, if we talk about the ethics, that person will start talking about the ethics in an unethical way. That person will try to explain us what are the ethics in unethical ways, right? So this is the thing that he would say that, well, under no circumstances we would do business in a black market. Even if that fellow is practicing, his entire generation is practicing doing the business in a black market to hide this, to nourish their this deceitfulness, right, their pride, right? What will happen? They will hide those things and they will do some, they will try to convince the people that we are not into these things. He just tries to stamp his dishonesty with the honesty. He is trying to cover his dishonesty with the reference of the honesty. This is the food for his deceitfulness. And as long as this is happening, he will keep doing this kind of the things. He cover up his deceitfulness with the deceitful talk, right? He will try to convince the people either by talk or either by the money. In any way, hook or crook. And what food does proudfulness require? Suppose you happen to see Mr. William on the way. You say, "Hello, sir, how are you?" At that time, William feels elated. Yes, see, because we gave respect him. Respect and taking and giving respect is a good thing. But if you are receiving the respect and if you feel like a pridefulness or ego, right, that is not a good thing. At the time, William feels elated and pleased, and his ego becomes inflated. This is the food for his pridefulness. Okay, one more example I would like to share. Suppose somebody has borrowed a 1 lakh rupees from you, right? Now he's not turned up in giving that money back. So by hook or crook, you will fight for the money. Okay, and if if he is not able to return the money, at least you will demand that they will say sorry to you or something like that. Something like that. Why? Because nourishment of the ego. So this is also kind of the things are happening. If a road mishap has happened, a minor problem has happened on a road, what would you expect? Say sorry and then leave. This is the nourishment for our ego. Yeah, how to stop nourishing one's inner flow? We have to learn to stop being encouraged by each of these four. If these four are left hungry for 3 years, see, Dada Bhagwan is given a precise time for 3 years, they will not survive. All those defects will not be under any kind of the violence or coercion. All these flows need to be tackled tactfully, not forcefully, tactfully, and not by overt suppression. I mean forcefully only. Otherwise, it will bounce back with a double power. That is why consciously we have to suppress all these things. Everything except the soul survives on a nourishment. So if we stop giving food to them, we will be able to suppress those things from our inner self. So come on, let us give cold welcome to anger, pridefulness, greed, and deceitfulness. Let us not nourish them. Thank you so much. And here with this, I would like to conclude. And Chandrakant sir, over to you.
Thank you, Rushik sir.
Thank
It
you.
was nice discussion. Will you please show us the back slide? Last slide. Yeah, this one. Well, we have to give cold welcome to anger, frightfulness, greed, deceitfulness. Let us not nourish them. This is the message of Dada Bhagwan. How to control? Let us give them cold welcome. Well, I am reminded of one story of Socrates here, which I would like to share with you. After that, we will have discussion. We have some 20 minutes.
20 minutes around, yes.
Yeah. So what happened one day when Socrates was teaching students, his wife appeared there. And because some or the other responsibility he missed out, the wife got so angry. She started calling him by names in front of students. So she continued for a few minutes. Even students got angry. They wanted to interfere. But Socrates just signed them, keep quiet and just listen like this. So when she saw after so many scoldings, there was no effect on Socrates. He was calm and composed. There was lying a bucket of dirty water around. She picked up that bucket and poured that water on Socrates. After that, Socrates just said, after this much thunder, I don't want that. I know there must be some rains. So this is actually very ideal situation, we can say. But if we stop nourishing, if we stop supporting our anger, deceitfulness, proudness that I am right, that time the mind will magnify it. If after getting angry, I say, no, I'm right, my anger is justified. If I try to justify it, I can never come out of this inner flaw. It will keep affecting me, it will go stronger. So we have to use this technique as given by Dada Bhagwan. Now I invite everybody. Rishik sir, please stop sharing this. We can have
Yes,
view
sir.
of other
Yes, sir. Yes.
participants and let us have some discussion. If you have any questions or if you have anything to add, I invite you. Please share your views, your comments, your questions one by one.
Please open
May I
up.
invite Shaila Mulji ma'am. Shaila Mulji ma'am is there.
Yes, she is there.
Jai
Ma'am,
Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand, welcome.
Sachidanand, ma'am.
Please add
Excellent
something from your side.
presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful presentation. Lots of great insights. It gives us a scope to really go inside the inner landscape in our inner world and see where we need to focus more of our attention so that we can become ideal humans and we can live our life as the best version of ourselves. Thank you so much.
Very well said.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, what does Madam Sonam Ranawat think in this respect? Getting rid of all these inner flaws.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Karthik bhai, it was a very good presentation. Sorry, I pronounced wrong. It's
It's okay, ma'am. No.
Karetiya. Karetiya.
Yes,
I am
yes,
so
sir.
sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Karetiya. Yeah. Please.
So the thing is, when it comes to anger, the practices which you have shared, I'm practicing it from last few months, like drinking a glass of water and chanting Om and talking to our own selves. And it is literally helping me out a lot. I start writing in my diary so that my mind gets diverted towards that particular thing. And very great insights today we have got from your entire presentation, and it was really, really very much in detailed manner, I can say. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Itiyal is also with us. I invite her to share a few the comments and her opinion about this topic.
Jai Sachidanand, sir.
Jai Sachidanand, ma'am.
Sachidanand,
Thank you,
ma'am.
so thank you to give me this chance to express myself. This was really a very enlightening session about exploring ourselves. And yes, anger is a very big issue. Every time on the roads when we are driving, or everywhere we find people are getting angry, and we too that this is a universal problem with I think most of the people have this issue. And really you gave this session gave a thrust how to overcome it. And these techniques are really very good, sir. And we must all try these techniques. These are easy. But what happens when we are in the state of anger? We forget everything.
Right.
This is the issue. Everyone has to deal with it. Nobody can say that, yes, we are free from this issue. Everyone is facing this issue, even the small children. Even children are going through these states. Thank you, sir. This was really a very enlightening session. And
Thank you,
even I
ma'am.
have taken the screenshots. At that moment only, I took the screenshots. Ki whenever I get into that state, I can see this in my screenshots.
Yeah, we will also share in the WhatsApp group the PPT. Now I
Yes, sir.
invite Lalabhai Patel Sahib for his comments and something to add to this session, sir.
So, Dr. Iti, what you said is correct. Everybody, every one of us, every human being, right, is composed of these four things. Say, they are the ingredients, right? And you cannot eradicate them soon. If you are able to eradicate, there is no difference between you and God, right? So that's true. But gradual elimination, dilution, or neutralization helps everyone, right? So Dada, when analyzing all this human life, he found, if you go on analyzing, what are the prime motivating factors? You can say, what are the drives for a human being? So these are the inner drives. If you see yourself and the life happening around, even in businesses and advertisements and everywhere, market, say, these are the basic drives for a human being. One is a pride, and as well explained by Rushik, if anger and deceit, they are the instruments, guards. Basic things are the sense of proudfulness and greed.
Oh.
So these two are basic actually. So unless the underlying cause is remedied, the outer guards, they are the mere guards. Wow. So the anger, what occurs to me is that here I am considered to be an angry person. Okay. And I observe that gradually it has come down. No. So that is what one can monitor oneself, that if you are becoming angry 100 times in a year, say like our Sonam told, no, you keep a journal. So this week I became angry for 20 times. So next week if I become angry 19 times, it's a good thing. Right? So like that one can progress. But analyzing our every time, say I agree that once you say I think it told, no, that once you are angry, you forget everything. That's true, right? That is true. It's a fact. But after being angry, after that burst out, you realize, right? So that is happened. That is what it happens. But once you realize, you analyze that why I became angry. So you will find that there was some issue of pride behind it. I am right. I am faultless. All those things, the core beliefs will be somewhere aligned. Even say it is not purely that anger is uh, protecting your pride only. It protects your greed also. These are the two policemen everybody has. Right. So the greed also, you can say, wherever my sense of greed, I was afraid that it will not be satisfied to the extent I want. So just journalizing this helps a lot, and gradually that awareness improves, and we can. I can't say Dada Bhagwan. A great thing about him I've seen is he has never used the word control. Right. So here, say what I understood from is the neutralizing. So it develops with the understanding. And if we remedy these two things, pride and greed.
Great.
Now again, if you analyze it further, what is the root of pride and greed? He has further analyzed it, that it is ignorance. right? Say you have a diamond and you lose it, you become angry. And a child loses it doesn't become angry. Okay. So it is the sense of happiness you have implanted, rightfully or wrongfully, you see. That creates a greed, right?
Right.
And then everything happens, right? So this way, everybody has fostered or imagined a pleasure somewhere, okay? And where there is an infringement on your way of achieving that or garnering that, one will become angry or may employ deceitfulness. So that way it is individual specific. Just I remember, let's say, this trade is a kind of matrix. Okay, it's a matrix, everything is moving. So for everyone, this is the case. Now there are benefits also. You see, everything God has given to you, nature, Mother Nature has given us, you can use it in a tactfully or rather judiciously, let me say. So, say if you are in marketing, say I was a banker, I was taught this by Dada Bhagwan, learned him from him, attending his courses. What I would do, say, first thing we have to understand that this anger, pride, greed, and dissatisfaction is for us.
Yeah.
Okay. We are not here to control others' anger, greed, price, and this.
Wow, very nice.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, when you are in a business, you do not hurt their pride and greed, sense of greed. Right? I have so many examples. I can, because being a banker, I have seen the greed playing everywhere. Unless you have greed, you can't accumulate money. No?
Right,
And then you will go to the banker. Say, I'll give a small example. I would deal with that. Long back, 30 years before, first time I became a branch manager of India's largest bank, State Bank of India. One very large customer, high net worth customer used to come to us every 15, 20 days. Because he was because he was keeping high value deposits with us. He would straight away come. I had 35 members of staff in my bank, but this man will straight away come to me. He would feel proud that, say, he is sitting with a branch manager. Okay, breaking all this protocol. I know that. So I would give him time because he's my customer. And he's a top customer. After some time, he says, sir, can I take this pen? There's some ball pens, you have on your desk. Now see, for him, this ball pen costing nothing, 3-5 rupees. He is a millionaire person. Still, you see, I immediately sense, oh, there is a sense of greed in this person. I'd happily give, sir, you can take it. No, don't worry. Right. You won't believe, every month you would come and take a pen from me. I have never objected to it.
My God.
Right. Why? Because it's a trivial thing for us. So when in practically dealing, we have to take care that we don't hurt people's pride and even a sense of greed. It has its own use. It was told in the session that females have a higher proportion of greed and male have a higher proportion of pride. But it has also, it's a Mother Nature's gift, So otherwise, the ladies cannot manage. Okay, if this fellow earning, he doesn't have a sense of saving, male.
Right.
So at the time of crisis, only the lady will help you. Lady will save money for children's education.
Yeah.
Everything, these are very well. She has a very good memory. Whatever things are kept. You see in a house, how many things are there, right? And number of things are stored in the house, and still she remembers how much stock of which item will last in a month. So this is in a way helpful also. Only thing, you remedy it to the extent it makes you unhappy, you lose your peace, and it harms others, especially harms you and those around you. Because suppression, suppression also harms, right? Only the resolution helps. So this way, anger also, we are not telling you, Dada doesn't tell you that you suppress your anger. No, no. He knows it is not possible. If you suppress it, then it will react somewhere. But you understand the underlying causes of anger, and you will see that simply by understanding, it will help you a lot. Right? It will, without noticing, you will see that anger diminishes gradually. Okay, over a period of time. Right? And if it is reduced even in 20%, right? Just by properly understanding, it is a great achievement. You see, your health will improve, your saving will improve, your relationships will improve, your office environment will improve, you're a boss, your employees will be happy, the productivity will improve. You see, your customers will be happy if you nourish their sense of greed and pride. You see,
Right.
everywhere in the mundane life also, you'll be very happy. So use these as these things what Dadaji has taught us in practical sense. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rushik.
Sir, anger and violence are also related.
Certainly.
So by chanting Navakalam prayer, it will help to diminish these inner flaws.
Inner flaws, you see, what Dadaji said, you don't nourish it. Nourish means justifying it.
Support and justify, right?
Okay, that is enough.
Okay.
If you don't justify it, okay, because you can't control it, you see. But after getting angry, suppose my wife says, hey, you unnecessarily became angry too much. You see, level of anger, it is not in proportion of the fault. It goes out of proportion. Then only it is anger, you know. So then, say, if you have become out of proportion angry, then if you don't nourish it or take your own side, simply just silently or vocally also you can ask for repentance from the God you believe. That is also a kind of non-rationalizing of your anger, and that diminishes,
Very well,
that
sir.
neutralizes to some extent, and gradually you will see great improvement. I tested it. I think Rushik is also the testimonial. I think. Rushik, what do you say?
Yes, sir. Agree.
Right? No? Yes. So anybody else want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you
very
so much, sir.
Everyone for joining.
Well, can I invite Nimesh ji and Vinal ma'am? You please share something.
He's a doctor.
Yeah. Dr. Nimesh, please. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very nice to see you. Jai Satchidanand.
Yeah, no, thank you. Such a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. I think one thing I noticed in myself too, because before, when I was younger, I was quite argumentative, and I think a lot of that was also related to pride in my viewpoint and trying to convince others of my viewpoint as well.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I realized is generally when you have an argument with anger, it never accomplishes anything anyways. That person is also angry. They're not convinced, and you get angry yourself. So that fire analogy, I think, is relevant as well. You just get burnt up. So I noticed in myself, I just in these argument situations, I just became silent, and the situation diffused, and I also remained calm. And I noticed that helped me as well. But one thing is, I think, aspect of grace here as well, because part of this, I think, I noticed in myself after meeting Kanu Dadaji, that a lot of these things, I noticed a lot of these changes in myself, and some are due to intention from the heart, but some for unknown reason that I think, and I can only say grace aspect to it as well.
Yes.
Very true. Wonderful. Well, may I request Rani ma'am is there, Rani Radhakrishnan?
Hi, Jai
Jai
Sachidanand.
Sachidanand ma'am,
Jai
please share something.
Jai
Sachidanand.
Sachidanand. What such an important and relevant topic. There's this Native American saying where it's basically like, each of us has a lot of the analogy is you have a lot of good qualities like a white wolf, and then you have like a dark wolf that has a lot of the negative qualities. And basically the Native American practice is that we all have both of these good and bad qualities, or positive and negative qualities, but really it's they're at odds. And so the elders explaining it to the younger child and says that the difference between the wise man and the one who suffers is which wolf they feed, right? Which wolf they nourish, which it just reminded me of that saying of that nourishing the fault, which is really siding with it, defending it. And that in its whole self is a topic of study. But that's what I've noticed is the more I was defending these bad behaviors, the more I was suffering, the more my health was suffering, stress, everything. And so what Lala Uncle was saying about the nourishing, that defending that behavior is really the first step in observing to neutralize. And so one point I wanted to also add is what you said about, we're on social media, we're constantly bombarded with advertisements and this aspect of time as a commodity. And, how much instead of focusing on these things, internal landscape, we're pulled into all these external distractions. So I just can't think of a better way of spending a Saturday morning than listening to such an awesome topic. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you,
much.
ma'am. And our thanks are to Celia ma'am for her nice comments. And Mrs. Prajakta Varad, I hope you are there in the group. So we will definitely share PPT. If you are not there, we will contact you and I will add you in the WhatsApp group. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Are you there in the group, WhatsApp group?
Thank you so much. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not there.
Okay. Have you filled up the Google form?
No, sir.
Anyway, in the next session, I will share my number and you can then just give me a call. We will add you in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
please.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Well, to conclude with them next time, when anybody else want to say anything whom I did not invite, but you can voluntarily open up yourself and share your views here. Or we will conclude. So next time, dear friends, if a mobile slips out from the hand of our child or spouse, let us feel that we are absent there and no need to react very instantly in an angry tone and to lose our temper. Thank you very much for joining. Next time, we will have, Rushik sir, which topic?
Sir, yeah, wait. Sufferings by Miss
My God,
Shaila
this is
Mulja.
also going to be wonderful topic, sufferings. Huh?
Absolutely.
The whole world requires it. Huh? So please do join, and it has to be taken by Shaila Mulji ma'am. Huh? We know her very well. So please do come again. Till then, have a very good time. Thank you very much for joining. Once again, with a very humble attitude, Jai Sachidanand to all of you. Thank you
Jai
very much.
Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand.